In this chapter, it talks about the non-parametric tests. The first test we can run is the Wilcoxon rank sum test. So it is a non-parametric test that used in two-sample t-test. So when we want to compare two related sample or matched samples or even the repeated measurements in a single sample, we want to use the Wilcoxon rank sum test. So it can be used to determine whether two dependent samples were selected from populations having the same distribution. And also, it would be better for us to use the non-parametric test when it violates the Venn test, which means that the variance are significantly different in the population. So we want to use the non-parametric tests. So for the data, so we can have right here, we can have two groups and we want to compare them. So for my research question, I'm interested in looking at how the different therapies affect people who suffer from depression. So in my data file, I have 20 participants who have depression problem, and they will be randomly assigned to two different treatment groups. The first one is the CBT therapy group. The second one is the ACT therapy group. So after receiving the treatment, they will they will fill out the survey, which it will show their satisfaction about the therapy. So I want to say which therapy is more effective when dealing with the depression problem. So we already imported our data. So first we want to run the Venn test. So we want to say if it's valid assumption. So the from the result we see that the p-value is above 0.05, which means the variance are not significantly different, and the assumption of homogeneity has been made. So even though it it it's not the best situation for us to use the non-parametric test in this data file, but we can continue to do. So the second commander is a bifunction for us to say the the details in each condition or each groups. And right here we can see the median and the means in different treatment group. For the first one is for the CBT group, the median is 8, the mean is 7.9, and for the ACT therapy, the median is 4.5 and the mean is 4.8, which indicates that for the CBT group, it has higher satisfaction. Right here, we want to create the model for us to run the Wilcoxon test. So from the result, it shows that the p-value is extremely less than 0.05. So we can make the conclusion that people who suffer from depression and their satisfaction were significantly increased after receiving the CBT therapy compared to the ACT therapy. And also in here, we want to create a formula for us to obtain the effect size. So this function is for us to get the effect size. So we can see the effect size negative 0.997, which shows that it's extremely large effect size. So for the second one, we want to talk about the Kroskal-Wallis test. So the Kroskal-Wallis test is used for comparing two or more independent samples of equal or different sample size. So it is a one-way analysis of variance. And for the Kroskal-Wallis test, it is based on the ranked data. So for our data file, we have to set the rank. We have to order the scores from the lowest to highest. So my research question is still the same as the last one. So I want to look at how different therapies affect people who suffer from depression and which one is more effective to treat the depression problem. So I have three different treatment groups. The first is CBT, the second one is ACT, the third one is emotion-focused therapy. And also each participant has to fill out a survey to report their satisfaction after receiving the treatment. So right here, before we analyzing the data, we want to order the data. So this data file is a little bit weird, and as we can see, we order from the lowest to the highest. So the first one is people who reported one satisfaction on the survey, and it has 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, let's start it over. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me count it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait for a second. So we have 11 people scored on 1, and so we we set the potential rank is 1, 2, 3, and until 12. So we have 11 people scored on 1, and we number it until 12. That means we want to set our rank, so we will have 1 until 12. So that means for the real rank, for the actual rank, we will use the 6 plus 7 and divide 2. So it will get us the value as 6.5. So we can continue doing the stuff like we have many people score on 2, and we order it as 2 until 20. So we count from the 13 to 20, and we want to get the actual rank is 16 add 17 and divide 2, so in which we got the value as 16.5. So right here 16.5, so we set the rank, so it continues to go. And also you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 3 people score on 5, so we order it as 29 and 16 and 61. So the actual rank would be 16 or 60 would be 30 would be 30. So the actual rank would be 30. So after we ordering the rank, we can actually analyze our data. So the first function is the Navien test. As we can see, we also get the p-value above 0.05, which means the variance are not significant different. So the ideal situation would be it violates the assumption, and it's better to use the non-parametric test. But in our data file, maybe because our sample is too small, so whatever we can continue analyzing our data. So the second function, we use the by function, we get the descriptive data in each groups. And as we can see, for the first group, the median and the mean is 3.5, and for the second also is the ACT group and the emotion group, their median and means are different from the CBT group, but this group are very similar to each other. So in this situation, we don't really need to reorder the group, because we want to compare the CBT group to other groups. So right here we use the test, we get the result shows that the p-value is less than 0.05, which shows that it is a significant difference. And right here we want to say the post hoc test. So we can see the comparison because between among the different groups, and it shows that there is a significant difference between group 1 compared to group 2 and group 1 compared to group 3, and there were no significant difference between the group 2 and group 3. And also this one verified our hypothesis, and it shows the comparison from the group 1 and compared to group 2 and group 3, and it shows the significant difference. And also we run that, get the p-value is less than 0.05, so we can make the conclusion that CBT is significantly different than other groups, and it is more effective because this p-value shows that there is a trend in the data that the median of the people satisfaction decreased when ACT and emotion focused therapy applied in the